So yeah, just quickly, we can see here that we have 16 different lessons, bits of advice that we're gonna be covering. Things like, do you need a website or personal brand? Which tools should you use? So basically, what tools am I using? How to accept payments, how to build proposals, how to not be nervous on client calls. Basically, my advice is start broad, then niche down. I speak about building a YouTube portfolio. No pay, no play. That's like my main lesson here. Do not start working until you start getting paid. MVP, then iterate, learn to say no, and how to get better. So some of this stuff is going to be practical advice. Some of the stuff I'm going to be showing you actual like proposals or whatever. And some of this stuff is going to be me more just talking things through, sharing my ideas, experiences to hopefully also get you better at whatever you're doing as well. Hello, legends. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the 16 lessons from building an AI agency. So if you've watched my story recently, you can see that in the last 1.5 years, I basically picked up all of these skills and come to wherever I was from zero. 1.5 years ago, I was doing customer support, running a customer support team. I'm not really good at sales. I've never touched an automation tool before that in my life. Never worked with VoiceFlow, never done any make.com, never done any code. Had zero. I was so green to the industry, had no idea what was going on. And now, a year and a half later, I have a YouTube channel that gets me leads. I have lots of experience in coding, using these automation tools. And then obviously, because I'm like working with clients, I now have like what you would call an agency. So it's still relatively a side hustle for me. I still do my other stuff. Like my full-time job is still the other business that I run with my 3 older brothers. But this is like something that has been growing fruitfully, and I've learned a lot of stuff. There's more than 16 lessons in my head. I just jotted down the 16 that I think would be most useful. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna be covering is, do you need a website or a brand? So over here, the first thing I wanna show you is, this is my website. This is my website that's pointed to from my YouTube channel. And actually my email domain is supportlaunchpad.com. So if you even look at my email that I link in all of my videos and on my YouTube channel, and I say, hey, email me here. If you look at my website, this is what it points to. It's a private site. I used to have something. I stopped paying WordPress. It doesn't even matter. And yes, I have a YouTube channel. So I've got a lot of like proof basically from this YouTube channel, but I don't have a website. And personally, I don't think you need a website or a brand. And this is something that my brother, who is working with me on this agency, he's a year older than me. His name is Chris. He's absolutely fantastic. He's really good at sales, cold emails, high ticket closing. So he's doing all that side of stuff for this business, for this AI agency. But he was like, dude, you don't even need a website. You don't even need a brand. We're not linking anyone to our website. We're not really pushing anyone to our brand. He's able to, with his website, which looks like it's been made by literally ChatGPT, he's able to email clients and close really high ticket clients. And his method actually is just to offer a trial for whatever we're trying to sell. That's his approach there. But you can see my website, I don't have one. I don't have a brand either aside from this YouTube channel. But really all you need, what people are looking for is just proof and testimonial. Like just, they want to know that if they pay you the money, they're not going to get scammed. So that there is something that like you can show that basically says, I'm not going to scam you and I can do what you want. That you're going to be reliable. And I think a lot of that kind of comes down to communication and presentation. Like if you get into a call with someone, can you communicate really well? Can you articulate yourself really well? Are you just like a genuine person, and are you easy to speak with? That kind of stuff goes a long way. It goes a really, really long way. And I think as humans, people kind of look at those factors if they're a little bit uncertain to gauge, how the situation could unfold. So, need some proof and testimonial stuff. And how can you get this? So there's 2 key ways that I speak about this. And actually, these are both that are really working for me. The one that's mainly working for me is the YouTube. And I'm obviously in a certain position where I can create YouTube videos and I'm getting lots and lots of subscribers. But for the first 9 months of running YouTube, I probably had under 80 subs. And I'm going to get to this other lesson later on where I was kind of niching down into Zendesk AI specifically. And then once I just like took away the Zendesk AI filter and I went to just general AI videos, that's when my sub count started going up. I started getting more views. And because of that, I have now more clout on my YouTube. So whatever I'm doing here, it's totally possible for you to do within 3 months too. And actually you'd be doing it even faster than I would be doing. So yes, you can build your Upwork profile. So how do you build your Upwork profile? I'll go into this a little bit later, but yeah, bid super low. You won't believe how many people that I speak to that have really high, like they've got great AI agencies. They charge a lot now for the work that they do. They all started by bidding super low on things like Fiverr and Upwork. So this is part of the process. So don't feel bad if you're doing this. Everyone does this. And you want to build it on Upwork because the leads are hot there. You don't have to do any cold email. You just go onto Upwork and you can scroll through and you can filter by keywords like automation. Make.com is like one of my main keywords that I filter by if I want to do work there in Upwork. And you can find people that are like ready to buy. They'll buy from you within a few days of having a catch up with you. Also, the platform is very safe. So if anything goes wrong, they can kind of make an appeal. And yeah, if you screw up, then you can, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of security in Upwork versus you trying to build, like send out cold emails and try and close them. Especially if you're brand new, if you're very green to sales, then Upwork is a great place to do this. And don't use ChatGPT when you make proposals. Just be yourself, include a Loom video if you can. Speak about how you'd solve the problem or the issue that you see. So typically the person will outline a problem. Actually, on this ChatGPT point, if someone else is using ChatGPT to write their proposal, I would not even apply for it. Don't even do it. They have no idea what they want, and they're using ChatGPT to be the placeholder for their lack of knowledge and lack of understanding of their own problem. So they're going to give you a ChatGPT generated proposal, like a project outline that is going to have so many conditions in there. It's going to be hard to meet them, and it's just going to be a mess. So I don't even apply for people that write their job postings with ChatGPT. Include a Loom video, just like present yourself well. What you saw before, like my couch over there, whatever, I'm messy, I have clothes on there, but I'm moving for the videos. It looks good when it's on video, but otherwise, yeah, like you just present yourself well. Right now, I'm very scruffy. The camera's there. I'm very scruffy. I got coconut oil in my hair, so I don't look the absolute best, but for my audience, I don't think that matters right now. But yes, this is how I would build the Upwork profile. I've got some other tips in one of these later slides. And and then how else can you actually build some proof? Because Upwork, you land a couple of jobs, now you have a couple of testimonials that you can use. But number two, YouTube tutorials. So I'll discuss it in another slide, but essentially you can create a YouTube page for free. You can get some of my old Make.com blueprints, go across, get like 5 or 10 blueprints from a bunch of different people, including myself, learn them, post them on your channel, make them like 10 to 15 minutes long each. You will probably get subscribers because Make.com is a hot topic on YouTube, especially tutorials, and you probably get some leads as well. But then you can just take this and you post it. Like you use this as social proof when you're applying on Upwork. And that's a technique that I'm doing now. My Upwork profile is absolute rubbish. I've got like 4 jobs and $800 made. I made 500 of that from just a job that I landed like 2 weeks ago, which is the Slack GPT. You'll see that on my YouTube, where I underbid, but I also overbid for what the client wanted to pay. And I was able to land a meeting in the first place because I just linked my YouTube channel. I also wrote about like how I would solve the problem, and I presented myself very well, but mainly from my YouTube channel. And I'm kind of like jumping around so much here, so I hope this is insightful to you. A recent client on Upwork wanted to build this chat with documents application. I gave him an indicative price of up to like, I think 6K on Upwork, and he was happy to meet with me, even though my profile was trash. And I probably was one of the higher bids for the job that he had because of my YouTube. So when we got on a call, he himself said, "Oh, by the way, I'm catching up with you because I went onto you linked to your YouTube and I went onto it, and I watched some of the videos, or I saw that you had a lot of followers, subscribers. I basically had all the proof and all the testimonials from my YouTube channel." So I got onto the call. He loved us, and then I sent him a proposal yesterday morning. So we'll see what happens there. But again, just from YouTube, and I've got a rubbish Upwork account. Next thing, which tools do I use? So I'm going to be going through these things like one by one in order. I might not keep flipping back into this page, so we're just going to keep firing through. So which tools do I use? 80% of the tools that I use to make my money in the agency are, so Make.com, obviously for automation, Replit for custom coding. So things like the real-time API videos I just made, they were all on Replit. People coming to me, selling them the actual real-time API for their businesses. I use Claude for coding, ChatGPT for coding as well, but I kind of interchange between here. I think Claude is better. And for ChatGPT, I use, both of these for like problem solving, thinking through problems, summarizing. Like I might just go to a Word document and it's got like a feature where you can just speak and it transcribes it into text. And I might just speak 2 or 3 pages worth of a problem or a meeting with a client, and I get like a summary made up afterwards. And then I use Cursor for coding, and I'm using Claude within Cursor as well. So this is my my stack that I use. You got Replit Agent, which can build apps, and you have the Replit AI, which can be a coding assistant. Cursor with Claude is absolute, like that's fantastic. That's actually what I use. And I used to use the Replit when that was the only like AI coding tool that was really like semi-good, but now I don't even use this anyway. Okay, so how to accept payments. So initially, this is a very easy one. Just get a Wise account or get a Stripe account. I don't like Stripe because of the fees, but you can get a Wise account and you can open it up in your local currency, and then you can open up different currency bank accounts. As long as you can accept USD, that's pretty much all you want. And then the conversion rates between USD to your local currency will be fantastic as well. So yeah, I think Wise is really, really good. And people are comfortable paying into Wise. They're comfortable paying into Stripe. So one thing you might come across is businesses saying, like I don't know, they might just be a little bit hesitant if they don't know who you are and you're not on Upwork and you're just meeting them for the first time from a cold email or from like a YouTube lead. They might be a little bit hesitant to just send money randomly anywhere. But if you're using something like Wise or Stripe, very well-known brands, you're not going to get issues with these guys. How to price the work. So I'm going to show you a proposal in a second, but at a high level, and again, this is all my experience. Some of this could be advice that you take. Some of this could be not applicable, but just keep that in mind. Pinch of salt with whatever I say. So, okay, how do I price work? I don't like doing hourly work, but if I need to give someone a price, it's 50 to $100 USD. $50 if it's like make.com automation, $100 if it's like custom coding. But to be honest, I tend not to even give people responses about this kind of stuff because this isn't scalable. I don't want to sell my time one hour for $50. I'd rather sell my time 1 hour for $5,000. So how can I do that? Obviously by selling value instead of selling hourly. Some examples here are my minimum that I would take for a project, like an automation project right now. And it's already gone up when I made this slide like, I don't know, a couple of days ago, less than a week ago. Make.com project work would be $500 minimum that I would actually accept, probably around 1.5 to 2K. And it's okay to charge that kind of money. If the people are willing to pay you for that, they're the clients that you want to work with. And project 2, so like an AI caller, if it's an actual build using something like Vapi or Bland, minimum 4K. If it's a custom coded like AI caller, which is what I'm working on now, that's going to be up to like 8K minimum. That I'll be charging. So again, I don't like doing hourly because it's how long's a piece of string. People see $50, $100, and from who contacts me right now, like they can't really like people looking for cheap. And I don't want to work with cheap people. Nothing against it, but it just more hassles in my experience. And also people are more serious. If they have the money to pay for it, I feel like they're more serious. And I want to work with people that are serious, that have like they're very passionate, and they're willing to put the money behind them as well. If people aren't willing to pay you $50, they want to pay you $10, $20, probably the project that they're working on is not really important. It's kind of small. And they might be difficult clients as well. They're expecting too much and they want to give too little. So yeah, something around that, but this is basically what I would charge. Why I hate hourly, yet not scalable. It's not exciting to me because it's not scalable and I don't want to sell time. I want to sell value. Yeah, and basically here, sometimes when people email me and they say, can you quote me up on a project? Can you, what's your hourly rate? People don't reply sometimes, and that's totally fine. And I think this is really good because then it lets me focus on things that are obviously going to bring me more money. And it just shows me people are not interested. If people were actually interested in paying this amount, their project, like I said before, it's going to be more important for them. They're probably doing bigger things. They probably have more opportunity for me to work with them long term as well. Like, I don't want to help someone for 2 hours, understand their problem, solve it, and then I never see them again. I actually want to work with clients that like I can build a recurring relationship with. So that's how I price work. One-time fee or subscription. How should you charge your services? Okay, so service, like an automation, like a make.com, something like that would be a one-time fee. And then recurring value is recurring fee. So like an AI caller is recurring fee. So An example over here is you can do an AI caller for a one-time fee, but I prefer to do subscriptions. And I think a lot of people prefer to do subscriptions like restaurants, carpet cleaners, other service-based businesses, because they don't know how to control the tech. They probably have a lot of different things that they're doing. So for them to learn how to control the tech it's not possible for them to do it. So what they might prefer to do instead is like a smaller one-time build fee, 2 to 3K, and then like a recurring $500 a month to actually manage the system for them. But in the management, really what you're doing is kind of being proactive about finding things that might break. And if it's working really well, you're not really fixing anything. You're not really improving the system each month. You're not really providing value. You're just there as like a fail safe, like a safety net for them. So that's what I find. People would rather do subscription for recurring value, but for like a one-time automation, like a make.com thing, I think once it's like, yeah, once you set it, it's kind of done. But okay, real life example of why recurring is good. So we recently built an AI SMS agent for a business, and they pay based like on a subscription, like each month they pay us. So we built it in make.com, and after we built it out, we tested it, we ran it for a week, and it was absolutely perfect. Nothing was wrong with it. We built it, like it was fantastic. But after about like 1 or 2 weeks, it broke by itself. And the problem wasn't with like how we built it. It was something that like inherent with the system that we couldn't even avoid. I didn't even really truly understand how it didn't occur in that first week, but it occurred in the second week. So that's a perfect example where we're kind of looking at the system. We noticed that there's some bugs going on because we can see the logs. And then we would proactively fix the system for the client without them actually having to worry about it. So if you're ever thinking about like, how do I sell recurring value for an AI caller? This is a really good example. Like use it for yourself. And you can see like by being proactive so it doesn't break, by being able to like, if something changes, some API changes, there's some updates in models, the prompt that you're using doesn't work anymore because the model's updated. That's what this recurring value really is for. It's not for constantly updating systems and adding new features. Unless the client wants it, then you obviously charge more for it. So yeah, that's just a little bit about one-time fee or subscription. Personally, I would do subscription as much as possible, like a build fee at the start, or even no build fee when you're first starting off, just to close the client, like $400 recurring for an AI caller. Fair enough. No build fee, get a few of them underneath your belt, get the reputation, and then start charging a build fee as well. But yeah, long term, like let's say you build an AI caller, if you think of it like this, and it's $400 a month recurring, then you're making 4.8K in the year versus a one-time build fee. Let's say you might charge them, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000. So if they stay with you for 2 years, you're making 4.8 plus 4.8, so nearly 10K. And chances are, if you're doing a good job, then they're not going to leave. Okay, so next, how to build proposals. So was there a proposal thing before here? Show proposal as well, how to charge and how to do work. Okay, so let's go back into here, how to build proposals. So let me just bring this across. This is a proposal that I sent to a business for the document chat application. So this is the actual one that I posted on YouTube maybe like a month or 2 months ago. And all of my proposals, and I just thought of this myself, this layout, I don't know exactly how good it is, but this is what I use. I have key project details on the top. So project name, project number, client name, and the date of the actual proposal that I'm sending. Let me just try and enlarge this a little bit. And then over here in this project overview section, I basically explain my understanding of the situation. So this is my way of saying, okay, this is your problem. This is how I see the problem. And this is very helpful because you go back to the client and you say, hey, does everything sound right? Does the problem sound correct to you? And let me give you an example of like, let's say you're selling an AI caller to a business and their problem is that they have such high churn with their agents that they're tired of constantly training people about their processes, their FAQs, everything like that. And the business owner just wants something that's stable and reliable, and it's not going to quit after 3 weeks. So the phone system, how you make it there, you might actually prioritize by spending more money on a better, more reputable system. And the owner is happy to pay more money like for the per minute cost or for the initial build because it's going to be on 24/7 and it's going to be reliable and it's not going to quit after 3 weeks. So that's how you would understand the problem here. But at the same time, you might have another business that has 10 people just doing phone calls and the business owner wants to save some money. So all they're looking for is just cheaper price. So now in their context here in the project overview, you might write, cool, we have 10 agents. We want to bring it down to 2 that will handle escalations. And we want to take the work of 8 agents and build them into an AI caller. that will be cheaper than all of their independent salaries combined. So, and that approach there, you might not use the most expensive model, you might not use the most expensive AI provider, like AI voice provider. You might use someone that's a little bit cheaper, even if it is a little bit like more unstable or whatever. So I think that kind of gives you an idea of how to approach this. But this is really good because, yeah, again, it just kind of sets the boundaries that you're working in. Then, and this is the document that I get the client to sign as well. So I think you can actually get another contract outside of this and then maybe attach it to this and then make it a bit more formal. But this is how I started making my proposals. As you can see, as early as September, I was using this proposal as well. So that was 8 weeks ago. A deliverable section where I clearly outline exactly what they're going to get, and then a timeline section with estimated dates. Typically you'd probably obviously want to hit these dates, but nice and neat section here. Then I use a lot of visuals. So this I learned from working with the AI agency when I was first getting into starting an agency or just getting into coding in general. If you watch my journey video, I explain it there. But this is actually the second document that I sent this business. Where the first document that I sent actually had multiple options for the same solution, because they were like, hey, how to use a private LLM, how to use a public LLM, like how to use GPT versus Llama on your own server. So I gave him two options. He wanted the cheaper option, which was using something like Pinecone API. And then for this proposal, because it was going to be the one that they signed, like the actual agreement, I basically just copied this page from the initial proposal that I gave. And as you can see here, if I just zoom in, it's a wireframe. I use Miro for this. I got a free Miro account and chatbot in the center, some like visuals. It's very basic. My visuals now are a little bit more comprehensive, but you could easily plug in this into Claude and say, hey, can you visualize this for me? And then you can take that, screenshot it, and put it into here. I was just using Miro before because that's all I knew. But then you can pause the video as well and kind of read through here, but I just write about what are the features. I keep it very high level. And then the client also wanted 3 additional paths. And I think what's this slide about? How to build proposals. So how to price work. So this ultimately was $3,050, way too low. I got this when I had under 200 subs. I think 197, 198, something like that. And it was one of my first big YouTube customers that came in from YouTube, and I wanted to close it. If I could go back now, I would charge triple, and triple for this. So that would be 2.1K just from these. Is this 5, 750, 714, 21, 2.1K just from these paths. Plus this would be at least 2 or 3K. So probably 4 or 5K more realistically what I would have charged for this. So I was very green in the moment. I thought this is what was more realistic, like some of these paths. And even how do you actually, how do you know how much time it's going to take you so you can charge appropriately? Some of these things I thought, it would take me very quick, it would be very little time for me to actually build this out. So I thought $250 seems reasonable. But even something very basic like a feedback mechanism, which is just an AI block that reviews the last comment, sees if it's feedback or not, and then it kind of sends it, if it is feedback, to an Airtable. It takes some time to think through, and then it takes some time to actually test out. So whatever you're thinking in your head when you're first planning it out, it might be a little bit different. So I think, I don't really have a hard and fast rule for actually planning how long things would take. I kind of just think of a number that I'm happy with in my head to do something until I get it done. I would probably do, $700, things like this, these 3 flows. This one, $250, again, and I don't like to think it's 250 and I do $100 an hour, it's 2.5 hours. Although at the time I was thinking like that. This probably took me, 5-6 hours to do. So already I undercharged for this. So a lesson that I have is don't try and do per hour, because you have to charge yourself for your ability to problem solve. It's not just if I had it in my head, how long is it going to take me to actually put the squares into VoiceFlow or put the modules in to make the comment, connect them all up? It's not like that. Half of this is actually problem solving, just thinking through in your head, making a wireframe, some back and forth. You put the module in, you test it, you put another one, you retest it. It's really hard to kind of time exactly how long you think it's going to take. So in general, you probably just want to have an idea of the entire project and then choose a number that you're happy with and kind of stick to that. So at the time, I remember I was looking at this stuff. It took me quite a long time to even come to these figures. I was definitely overkilling it. But moving on, pending variations, basically some other notes for some stuff we wanted to do. Proposed architecture, just listing out the tools and what they're going to be used for. Some more, what do we have here? Yeah, explaining how the app was going to be. So you can see it's very basic. It's just got 2 tabs in here. I used a voice flow picture that I screenshotted from the website. And then over here, I've just got like buttons. So you want to keep this very high level, not very technical. Even some of these explanations here, you can see they're just like basic English, just, flat diagrams, basic English, nothing too crazy. Same thing as well, like just looks like a kid made it, but it works. It gets the point across and people understand what's actually going on. So if I keep going through. Okay, we spoke about this. Then I have some more wireframes just so you can see what's going on. I'm not going to focus on that too much. And then we have the payment terms, and then we have, where the person would sign as well. So I do 50% upfront, 50% on completion of the project handover. So in the milestones, here we are. The project handover was on the 18th of September. So this is the final date that I would actually give the files and also issue the final invoice. If you want to be fully, I've never had a problem where on the given the final invoice, someone hasn't paid me. People are very quick to pay typically, but there might be a situation where, I don't know, you want to hold off on giving all the files until you're fully paid. I don't know how to manage that specific situation just yet, but for now, it's always been easy for me to give the client the actual final invoice and then give them their stuff pretty much right away, or wait till they give me a copy of payment first. So they might pay the invoice, give me proof of payment, and then I would just give them all the files. And then over here, the client, the name and the business, and then over here, representative from the company, so just me, signatures and dates, and So I've never really had to enforce an agreement, but this is really good for scope creep. That's why you want to be very specific with stuff in your deliverables. Over here, exactly what it does. I also like to be very detailed, here, pretty detailed. You can just see how the architecture is. But with these flows, what actually is going to be doing, you want to put this kind of stuff here, sometimes maybe this level of detail, so that if the client comes to you and says, hey, we also said we're going to do this, you would just look back in here and say, hey, we actually didn't say that, and you signed this, or you've seen this document too. So scope creep is a big problem. This is how you avoid it. That's my basic outline. So project overview on top. Then I have page 2 as deliverables and timeline. So cost here, if you want to put the cost, pretty much where the deliverables and timeline are, or in the beef. And the beef was just basically somewhere else in the file. And for my specific outline that I did for the client, it made sense to actually put that over there, basically in the middle. Okay, so what are we doing here? Whoops. How to price the work, one-time fee, how to build proposal. Okay, the beef, that's where the tools, the visuals, specific work, all the issues. Sometimes I even raise issues. So when I build the real-time API callers for people, I basically say, hey, it's in beta mode still. There's going to be X, Y, and Z issues. It's probably a bit more expensive than what you're going to be used to. These are the things that you need to know in advance because they will come up later on. And if you note them down as issues initially, then at least you have some grounding to work on, because not everyone is going to be a dick and try pin you for things that are outside of your control, but it's better to have this kind of safety net anyway, even for yourself as an agency. And then yes, you have payment terms and approval on the very final page. And again, so I just basically said this before, the purpose is to avoid scope creep. So that's what we're doing here, just avoiding scope creep. Okay, how to not be nervous on client calls. So the first few calls that I was going on, even not even client calls, when I was first on Upwork and the AI agency owner wanted to meet up with me, I was so nervous. And I was nervous because I felt like I didn't know anything. At the time, it might have been true. I didn't really know much. And that was just how I framed the situation in my head. I'm like, I've got to be smart. They're going to really pick me apart. I could just be my own insecurities, whatever it was. But I was nervous as well. And how do you not be nervous on the first few calls? Well, you are going to be nervous, so just get them over and done with. But now I really love calls because I kind of understand more about what they're for. The people on the other end of the line, typically they're not going to be as technical because they're actually coming to you for the technical work, and they've got a problem and they just want to solve it. And if you can relate to their problem, understand the problem, if you've solved the problem before, that's really all they're looking for. And you don't have to wow them. You just have to like speak with them as a regular person. So what do we have over here? Okay, so one way that I got over being nervous on client calls, even initially, was I would try and build out the thing before I got on a call. So even when I was on Upwork, before I actually applied for a job, if I've never done it before, and this is before I had more confidence and more understanding of how coding automation works, I was like, oh damn man, this could be like, this is maybe not even possible what they're asking for. So let me build it out first to make sure it's possible. And then when I applied, then it was easy for me to be very confident because I've already done what they wanted. And that's exactly what I did when I was first working with that AI agency. I did the work beforehand, and then I applied for the job on Upwork. So it does take more time, obviously, and I don't think everyone can do it. But that was my hack. And even if I didn't land the job, what it did get me doing was building out real life like automations that people were asking for. And even if I didn't close them, I was just getting more XP. And then I had more resources for myself to use in the future. So yeah, this is what I was saying here. Even better, build out the solution before going on a call. Example in a make.com scenario, and pretend you haven't, on the call, go in, pretend you haven't done it. And yeah, you'll be super confident. Like 100%, if you can go on a call that you've done that build 10 times before, you are going to be more confident than if you've never done it before. So if you're super nervous, you don't know what to do, build it out first. If it's feasible, if you're going onto Upwork, like I recommended in one of the earlier slides, build it out first. And even you can set like a Loom video of, oh, here's what I build out for different clients. So you can build it out first, a similar version, maybe it has like 1 or 2 features less, and then just demonstrate that on a Loom video. When I haven't done it, okay. So when I haven't done something, there's typically a way to either solve something or a workaround to solve something. And a dumb example is, let's say the client wants you to take them to Disney World, and they have a motorbike, and they're like, take me to Disney World on the motorbike. I've got to take my bag of stuff. We've got to take so like a bunch of different things, and you're like, oh, I can't do that on a motorbike. It's impossible. There's not enough space. So you could even have a mindset where you're thinking it's not possible on a motorbike. It can't be done. Or you think, how else can it be done? So the workaround would be to like get a car, and you put the customer in a car and you take him to what did I say? Disneyland. I forgot what the Google Sheets example was here, but that's the kind of mindset, and I go through this a little bit more later on, that you need to have. Sometimes if you're uncertain if it's possible, most likely it is possible and it has been done, and you can just find resources online. Now that you have ChatGPT search, that's going to search the web for you. That's an amazing resource that you just go onto and just type in your problem and specifically say like search for answers for this specific problem, and most likely you'll find it. And if you can't find it, figure out a workaround. So yeah, I mean, okay, for my example for real-time API, I was using Google Sheets as like the central management tool that I would basically add new customer information to, or I would make bookings to. And there's obviously Google Calendar that you could use. At the time, I didn't know how to use Google Calendar. I didn't have any automations made up for it. So I didn't build it out for my real-time API videos. I just use a Google Sheet to just show what's possible to viewers. So yeah, bad example, but you kind of get what I'm saying here. Next, so keep a positive mindset. Okay, so here, so why do you get a bad mindset? Why do you get a negative mindset? And primarily it's because you are not where you want to be. And here's a Disneyland example from before. And it's, do you hate your car for getting you to Disneyland? And you don't hate your car for getting you to Disneyland, even if you have to drive 5 hours with no air conditioning, and I don't know, you just like your car is uncomfortable to ride in. You don't hate your car because your car is getting you here. It might be uncomfortable or something, but like you have to go through that, like with the car in that discomfort to get to Disneyland where you want to be. So you have to really, in your mind, frame what it is that you're doing and what the end goal is. And if you don't have an end goal, like for the first 9 months of running my agency, which wasn't even an agency at the stage, I was really focused on Zendesk. And I'm going to get into this a little bit later as well, but I was really focused on like doing Zendesk niche videos. And I didn't really know what my next few steps were. I just thought I'll just make videos about Zendesk. I'll just get better at Zendesk. My brother at the time, we weren't working together. He was always like, just start selling something. Just start putting yourself out there. That's the natural progression. You work with a few clients. You see if what you're offering is actually interesting to them. And that'll really calibrate you really quickly. Instead of doing that, I just kept doing whatever I thought was at the time right, which is just get better, learn. But anyway, I should have really thought about like, what do I really want to achieve here? And that's to run an AI agency, to have a successful YouTube channel. And my journey, because I didn't have this outlined, I just hated the car and I was focused on the car. And I'm like, I need to make the car better. I need to make it faster. I need to make it more comfortable. But I was focused on the wrong thing. So don't hate the journey. It's actually getting you to where you need to be. And another example is this. So YouTube videos. There are times where I hate making YouTube videos because it takes up a lot of time. I'm nervous on a camera, like I'm sweating now because I think the coconut oil in my hair and the lights on as well. So it's also hard for me to like make the video, keep it engaging or what I think it's going to be engaging, to edit it afterwards. It takes so much of my time. I also don't really have like always content that I know was going to be interesting to make. Sometimes like I would post something and it would get no views or would get like 5 views in 6 months. And it's tough because you would get that and then you still have to be motivated to make more videos. And then recently, like in the last month or so, I've been getting a lot more interest from YouTube videos, people reaching out to me to build them things. And for a period of time, I kept focusing on making more videos, and I kind of put client work to the back, or I wouldn't reply to people straight away. And because of that, I was missing on opportunities to actually generate cash because I replied to people like a week late and they were already moved on to something else. And about 2 weeks ago, I was like going for a walk and I had to reframe in my mind thinking, hey, like you're hating the YouTube videos, but they are the car. But actually, you're already near Disneyland. You can smell the water, whatever, from Disneyland because you're getting clients coming to you, wanting to pay you big cash to build things for them. So your ultimate goal of having like an AI agency, this is actually being achieved and you're really close to it, but you're still focused on the car. So I reframed it. And for like the last week, you can see that I've made no videos when typically I would make 2 to 3 videos in a week. So I kind of got rid of a lot of anxiety by reframing on what my Disneyland was. And it basically helped me to focus more on clients. I became less like itchy to create more videos, to try to get more subs, get more viewers. Because I was getting stuck thinking, I have to get more subs, I have to get more views. There's other channels out there that are bigger than me. And I was comparing myself, and I probably still will. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm out of this now, but like it's even happening to me. And this journey is like for a long time was you're working, and then nothing happens. And this is like the Jay Waller quote. Work, nothing. You work, nothing. You work, you get a little bit of something, you do some more work, you get nothing, and then you work, and then boom, and it starts exploding. So I'm not really at that final stage of like it's starting to explode, but I definitely can say that this is 100% real, it's 100% truthful, and if you're in this stage where you're just working and nothing's happening, reframe. Make sure you know what your car is, and make sure you know what your Disneyland is, which is the ultimate goal of where you want to be, what you want to achieve. Do you want an AI agency, or do you want enough money that you can help your parents retire, or that you can, get a new car for your family so you can take them on nice trips? Like, what do you like? What's the actual end goal here? And just recognize what the car is and what the Disneyland is. And yes, 99% of people, me included, need to spend the time to actually pick up the skill. And 1% of us get lucky, right time, right place. An example of 1% to get lucky, and it's not like you get lucky as a whole. I'm in the 99% category of I had to spend so much time figuring out, it's like stuck in rubbish. And when I did the real-time API video, I posted the video, and there was heaps of people posting the video at the same time as me, but my channel was so small, it was like 500 subs, but I got so much interest from that video, and I'm getting lots of interest for like work now, and I made that video like a month ago, 6 weeks ago. But I got lucky, right place, right time. Heaps of different people posting it as well at the same time as me. Maybe my video was just better, I don't know. There's a lot of good videos out there about the real-time API, but mine was, it took the wave and it just flew. And other people that make really good videos didn't hit that wave and didn't fly. Another example of this is I made Cursor AI tutorials, like how to use Cursor AI for beginners. And yeah, as you can see, I'm very like specific, very obsessed, and I'm very like beginner friendly because I'm still a beginner myself, so to speak, right? And I made the cursor AI video, and heaps of different people in the space were making cursor videos, and every single video was getting thousands and thousands of views within the first day. I made my one, it got 10, 20 views in the first week or 2 weeks. So you know what I mean? Like it's a hit and miss, it's right place, right time, and it can happen to you in parts, in portions. So if you think that, okay, it's taking me forever, I'm in this 99%, don't give up. You can get that 1% lucky, like sprinkled across. And I know, I'm feeling that I'm gonna get that 1% lucky again. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I can feel it's in the near future. I can nearly grab it. So that's what gives me the motivation as well. That's like the Disneyland for this luck situation. I know it's right there. I'm just gonna keep moving forward towards it. Okay, so we have start broad, then niche down. Okay, so when I first started, I started with Zendesk AI content. Like I said, I came from customer support and I was using Zendesk and I thought, I've got an edge. I'm interested in AI. I'm gonna be posting AI content. I was in all the like Zendesk and customer support Slack channels and the communities, posting, made an app, doing all this stuff. No one cared. At the same time, there's this guy called Brendan, also from near my area, that does AI now. And he had like similar like subscribers to me, started his channel roughly at the same time as me. He was doing general AI content and I kept seeing his channel grow and grow and grow. And I was just doing Zendesk AI thinking, it'll pay off. Even if I have minimal views, they'll be very concentrated and they'll be like, they'll want to work with me. Never happened. That never happened. For the first 9 months, I had like 80 subs. Probably half of these were like my friends and family. That's what I had. I had no visibility. And that's really what I was lacking. So then maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I made the choice to just go more broad. After working with this AI agency that I got friends with on Upwork, I started posting some of the stuff that I was like, some code that I wrote for him, I posted, some other stuff that I was doing around AI automation. I just started like learning broadly, make.com, voice flow, how to code with AI. I started posting that content, started getting more interest, more views, more subs, more clients. It all just fell into place. And it's possible within a span of a few months. Like Eugene, if you guys watch him as well, I think he had 1,000 subs in 3 months, something like that. So that's crazy. It took me 9 months to get 80. He had 1,000 in 3 months. So it's completely possible right now. I think YouTube is like a very fertile ground, especially for the AI space. So if you just make your portfolio on YouTube, you are going to like, things will happen for you. And one thing I was thinking was, just because I'm an expert in the field and heaps of people email me asking about like, this is the product I want to do you want to work with me on it, whatever. Just because you're an expert or you really like that field doesn't mean that other people will like it too, and doesn't mean it will be your ticket to making crazy money. You want visibility first. So I'm doing a lot of this stuff now, and in doing a lot of this stuff, just being more broad, building out these different things for different people, I'm making good cash, but I'm also now realizing what I can build faster, what I can template from different builds, and also what is more interesting in the market. Like what are people actually really resonating with? And I can only get that from doing all this general BS stuff. Like, because my ultimate goal was Zendesk be a niche. Then I had to go just super, super broad. And now I'm going to concentrate in on something. I'm kind of like honing in on some kind of offer. So yeah, this is really cool. This is happening to me. And then looking back at Zendesk, this also would have limited my enjoyment. So I love that I'm using make.com. I love that I'm posting YouTube videos that are very broad. I love that I'm being able to make this kind of like personal content like here, like lessons and my journey. And Zendesk, I would have been very limited in my enjoyment because I probably wouldn't have used half the tools that I'm using now. Also in my exposure, because Zendesk is obviously a niche product, very limited. And also limited in cash, because people that use Zendesk probably are not going to pay you 10K for an AI caller. There might be another tool that they want to use already pre-existing for Zendesk. And yeah, so this is basically the limitation I would have had if I just niched down from the start. But now I can actually service Zendesk customers by automating their communication. So I can still go into here if I wanted to, but I'm now no longer interested in niching down in this at all. So it's very interesting learning. Like the journey took me from where I thought I wanted to be. I just tried my hand at everything, and now I'm niching down, and now I'm happy that I didn't stay with Zendesk at the start. Build a YouTube portfolio. Okay, so yeah, my Upwork profile is terrible. 4 jobs, 800 made. I just made this $500 client, so I had 3 jobs, 300 made. So my portfolio was like, I had nothing, my profile had nothing. But because I was linking my YouTube channel, that was able to get me, I was able to close clients. So even though my actual profile on Upwork was like really bad and I had like nothing on it, I landed this guy because I gave him my YouTube channel. He would have seen that I was actually good at what I was doing. And then I don't even think I got on catch up with him. I think he's like, cool, I want you to build this for me. Let's get started. What do you need? So he's he's actually a fantastic dude. So yeah, I got this because I had a YouTube portfolio. I also have like more subs now, but even if I had 20 videos about make.com and then I sent it to this guy who I built this out in make.com, he would have looked at that, seen 20 previous builds, whether they had subs or views or not. He just could have seen through of my actual portfolio. He would have seen how I work, how I describe things. He would have got an impression of me as a person, like how do I communicate? And then from there, it's just like, it's a done deal. Obviously, because I have more subs, it probably adds more social proof to what I do. But even if you just had, 10, 20 make.com tutorials, 10 to 15 minutes long each, that would be perfect, especially if you're just starting out. And the cool thing is you can go and take my blueprints, upload them to your profile, just learn them, be genuine about it, actually learn how it works, learn how to set it up. But on your video, you can just do what I do and at a high level, have it set up and just kind of point to each block and go through it. And the main thing you want to do is just show, I can build a make.com that automates your SMS, that automates your Slack, that it plugs into Google Sheet, that sends text messages, that does A, B, and C. And then when you're actually applying for Upwork jobs, you can send them 2 or 3 specific tutorial videos that you have saying, oh, you want me to build you a GPT Slack bot? Here's a video where I've done it. Here's an SMS one that I've done. Here's a custom GPT one that I've done. So I've got these all 3 different ways of managing your problem. Let me know if you want to work together. And typically the person will see it. They won't want to build it themselves, obviously, so you don't have to feel bad about giving them the actual video. They'll want you to do it because their core focus is their core business, not on automating things and saving $500. To them, it's nothing. So yes, your goal is to build a portfolio to link to people. And then your secondary goal will be to increase exposure and grow your channel. Even if you have 500 subs or 1,000 subs, like I've got 2,500 now, if you have 500 or 1,000, which again, Eugene got in like 3 months, then that's already going to be heaps of clout when you link this to people. You could probably even have I have my YouTube channel linked in my footer of my emails. I don't actually do the cold email from my email address, but I just kind of link it there as like people want to see more about me. There's my LinkedIn and there's my YouTube. And then the feedback that I get from people, like the job that I quoted, I think 6K for on Upwork, the one from a couple days ago. The feedback that I get is, and even like from them, I had another call this morning from a guy that wants me to build out an AI caller. They're like, yep, from your videos, you seem like, firstly, you're very knowledgeable, you know what you're talking about, but also you explain things super easily, super well. So I really come across as the authority figure. And I make sure that I understand truly what I'm showing to people. I don't like to kind of just bullshit my way through and pretend that I know what I'm doing. I like to really understand it. And that's probably why when I explain things really well, but it does take up a lot of time. But I'll tell you now that the first video that I made for the real-time API that has like 25K views probably took me 5 or 10 hours collectively to actually learn the actual code and then to record the video and post the video. 5 or 10 hours. And I didn't know I was going to get 25,000 views. I thought maybe a couple of hundred max, but it paid off. And I've also done a lot of hours for different videos and it didn't pay off. So you just got to be like, you got to constantly try. But yes, I did that. Took a long time. I really understood it. That wasn't even my code. I mentioned in the video at the very start, it's from Twilio. They wrote the code and I used their one. I optimized it for myself a little bit, yes, because I understood how the code worked. And really resonated with people. So I was very fortunate there. How to land your first job? Go to Upwork. Okay, so I mean, we're kind of like, you probably now can see that we're kind of circling around similar things. Get a profile on YouTube. Go to Upwork for your first job. Price your work a little bit lower when you're first starting off. But let's keep going. So go to Upwork. Get your first jobs there. You can also do cold email at the same time, but you're going to have higher success on Upwork. People are hot and ready to buy, and they want to buy within the next couple of days. It's also better security for them and for you because they will pay you. Upwork will take like an escrow amount of the actual total job They'll take an escrow and they'll pay you with that. They do take a fee, whatever, who cares, build your profile. But then also for the actual buyer, so the client that you're working with, if you mess up the project, then there's obviously policies in place to keep them safe as well. So really good place, good for both people buying and selling. And your steps are, make your Upwork profile initially, go and find 10 blueprints from my channel, different channels, make 10 videos, 10 to 15 minutes long each, post them on your YouTube channel, which is free to make. Go into Upwork, there's a portfolio section. I use Figma for image editing. It's a free tool online. Make a basic image, make a small write-up on this portfolio. So when people go to your profile and so click it, like if you're ever hiring on Upwork, which I did a lot of for my other business, I would read the actual proposal from the person, then I would go to their profile and just flick through and see, does their description match what their profile says? I would also look at what are their previous job history? Does that also match what the profile says? Does the proposal match as well? And if I was to see a portfolio of really cool projects that are all around automation and a guy's applying for an automation role, then yeah, for sure, it kind of again, all the dots are lining up. When you apply for jobs, don't apply using ChatGPT. Just be genuine with it and people can see through this and they will not hire you. Also, do not apply for jobs that are written with ChatGPT. Like I mentioned before, it's absolute rubbish. You don't want to do that. Link your YouTube, ideally specific videos. So make these videos, link 2 or 3 each time, because people tend to ask, what's your plan on solving this issue? How would you tackle it? And if you could just say, oh, I've tackled it 3 different ways already, here are 3 videos, watch it, then that's a lot of social proof. And it doesn't matter if they've got 10 views. Honestly, at that stage, the fact that you're giving them 3 examples of you walking them through how to do it, they'll be very confident in your ability. Apply at the given rate. Now, even with 4 jobs and 800 made, I actually apply at a higher rate. And when I link my YouTube, when I actually apply, I get pretty much everyone replies to me. And then from there, I kind of gauge, do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? So it's up to me if I really want to follow through. But typically, I'm able to apply at a higher rate and close deals at a higher rate, i.e. that $500 ChatGPT bot, because of my YouTube. And my Upwork profile, I keep telling you, it's four jobs, 800 made, which is very low. There's people that have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands made on their profile. They're going to be applying for jobs that you're applying for. So yeah, how do you stand out? Something like this. And then read feedback. So when I'm applying for work on Upwork, I also want to see, is the person, are they good to work with? So I'll read other feedback, and if they've only got 3 out of 5 stars and they've got 50 reviews, I'm not going to apply. I don't want to deal with someone that's going to be problematic. I also want to build a profile that's going to be getting me 5-star reviews. So I'll see what kind of reviews they leave. I want to game the system. So I'll make sure they're leaving high reviews. They're also getting high reviews. If it's got less than 20 applications, ideally less than 10 applications, because when it's got 50 or more, the person that's going to be browsing, i.e. what I used to do, is at a high level flick through and not read every proposal. And I'll just thumbs up, thumbs down. And then I would shortlist, then read the proposals. So you want to get in there quick. If it's above this, save your credits and don't do it. Ideally 5 to 10. That's where you want to be going into. And if it's recently viewed, so you can go and find a job on Upwork that has posted, 5 hours ago, and it's not been viewed at all. I wouldn't apply for that because I don't want to waste my credits, because probably they posted it, they're not so serious. But if they posted it 5 hours ago and they viewed it 3 or 40 minutes, apply, because they're really, really interested. They're very engaged. And like I said, I now apply at over rate. Even with 4 jobs and 800 made, I keep getting into meetings. So yeah, a lot of it is because my YouTube channel was pretty big, 2.5K subs. In my opinion, still very small, but in the point of view of the person that I'm speaking with, 2.5K subs probably seems like a lot to them. But yes, I'm always linking YouTube videos. So 15, so no pay, no play. I do 50% upfront and then 50% on completion. I don't do any work until I have the first 50%, and I don't hand over final resources. So I've got some stories here. The first was, there was an AI agency that I was working with, and I was getting paid hourly to do certain work and then project work as well. I'm a very nice guy. We had a good relationship. So I always just did the work first, then I got paid after the fact. After a while working with them, I got ghosted on my hourly rate. And on the project work that I was doing, which was probably around 3 to 4K. I followed up once indirectly, and I had I was kind of given a bit of a BS reply. But then I left it. This is an expensive lesson that I learned that I want to teach you guys too. When you're doing work with clients, this was a pretty like a unique situation where I thought, oh, we were friends, it's fine. Unfortunately, it's not fine. It happened to me. It'll happen to you. It'll happen from the person that you least expect. Get 50% up front. That's totally fine. No one says no to this. You get 50% up front, and then you start working when it hits your account or when you have proof, and then 50% on completion. So you can either like get the proof and then unlock all the files, or if you trust them enough, unlock the files and then get them to pay. This ending, I've never had problems when they paid me up front so far. So maybe you want to be a little bit more careful here. I'm not sure. But definitely get paid upfront, at least 50%. Okay, so this is my first example. My second example is this. People always email me asking for help. They watch my videos, and they're like, hey, I run into this specific issue. And they're coming to me asking for help. They would take it all up. Yeah, okay, so I used to give a lot of free help. I used to start helping people, emailing them, going into their accounts and actually checking their stuff for free. And which even happened like recently. I'm a sucker. I'm like a bit of a nice guy, but I am getting a little bit jaded by all these people. Unfortunate, but that's just the reality. And even recently, this guy's like, hey, I watched your video about the Slack GPT. Can you help me out here? Gave me a bunch of screenshots. And getting screenshots about something is like, it's like me cooking something and saying, is this delicious? I just give you the photos and you're like, dude, I have no idea. Like, what are you doing here? So I said, I'm happy to jump into your account, add me to yourmake.com. I'll jump in, I'll float around. Turns out that there was an issue with his Slack app. So I'm like, give me access to your Slack and I'll fix it again for free. And he's like, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable. And I'm like, well, look, I can't help you otherwise, because he gave me like images again. And I'm like, I can't tell from these images. Ghosted. And this is so common. People are like constantly expecting you to help them for free and for handouts, at least from what I've seen from people that are emailing me. Not every single person. Like there's some people that actually just lead with, how much do you cost? Can I pay you for this? They'll buy my blueprints that I post online. Then they'll come to me and ask me for help. Like there's a good way to do it and there's a bad way to do it. So I think it's important for you to sift out the people that are just there to take advantage of you. Not everyone is, but a lot of people that I've seen so far are. So if you start making a YouTube channel, if you start doing this kind of stuff, be like, this is going to happen to you. You have to filter out the noise. Now I help only 10% of people that email me if I like what they're doing. And this is also why I'm trying that monthly incubator. I think there's a lot of serious people out there, and I don't want to overlook a serious person that actually has a sick mission. Because I love energy. I love awesome energy, and I want to be around those people. And just because 90% of people are doing this thing to me, there's 10% of people that aren't, and I don't want to miss out on them. So if there's a really cool project, I will still look at it for free because I'm interested in it and I like helping people. That's my approach here. No pay, no play typically is what you want to do. And it applies for project work. It applies when people are asking you for little tips and advice. Even if they're fully engaged and they ask you what price you charge, then they ghost you. So that's also why I don't like doing the hourly pricing, because people don't see the value in that. They'll see a value in an overall build, like let me take over your entire scenario and build it for you. I don't want to do hourly work because the problems, it's always bigger than what the person understands it to be. And if you have full control of the system, then you have full control over the problem. And I just don't like hourly work. MVP and then iterate. Okay, so one thing that I've noticed is whenever I get a big project, I always like to do an MVP first. And people typically will recommend an MVP. Some people don't. And I like the MVP because you can break down a complex project into something that's like into a micro win first. Get a really good response from the client, get them excited about that things are going in the right direction. They've already paid you a little bit of money. They're more confident and comfortable with you that you're not going to scam them or screw them over. But also it helps you manage their expectations. So let's say, for example, I got a guy right now that wants me to build him a custom AI caller using OpenAI, DeepGram, and 11 Labs, and then Twilio. So a fully custom solution on their backend, like an in-house VAPI. And he wanted the MVP to be inbound calls for FAQs and function calling into his CRM. And I pitched him saying, cool, let's not do the actual function calling. Let's just do the FAQs, because if the conversation itself is not good, then we don't even need the FAQs in that's a step 2. So there is a bit of you have to kind of step away from the problem and understand what the core desire is. And yeah, by building this, I'm probably also able to charge a little bit more by breaking up the problem into two parts. One, build the MVP. Two, charge a little bit more for doing the function calling as well. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say that you should do this for your clients and actually like extort them. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that this way, like I said before, you can get the initial rapport. You can, charge a little bit more as you break down the build, but it protects you as well. Because if a client has five, like let's say the MVP, they want 5 things done. They want all those to be perfect. And if you deliver a project and you screw up on one of those points, they're going to be like eagle eyes on the other 5 points. What you actually want to do is strip all those points away, get the one most important point, focus on that, get that right, one expectation. And once you get that right, the client's a bit more like, oh, he's capable of this. He's not going to screw me over. And they're more open-minded for the next points as well. So yeah, it's not always possible, but you get the point. It's easier, faster, and the client and yourself can be happier. So much easier to manage smaller portions of work than a big conglomerate of work. So yeah, MVP and then iterate. If you don't know, say you don't know. So yeah, even on this call recently where I was on Upwork where I quoted the guy 6K, actually not, it wasn't even that call, it was another call I think I had a little bit earlier this week. A guy wanted us to build out an AI caller SaaS app. And I remember I was just basically sitting there and saying, so I'm not necessarily interested in building out a SaaS app for anyone and not even for myself right now. I still want to understand more about like what the market wants. So I'm not even going to like try and take my focus away from that and focus on a SaaS app, even if there's like good potential for cash there. So I was on a call with him and I just told him saying, hey, look, I've never built out a SaaS app. Like we've never built out, myself and my brother, we've never built out a SaaS app. So like you want to build something out, you want it to be very big. We're going to be we're going to be the spanner in the works and it's going to mess up for you. So I don't think we're the right people to do this for you. And I said it like super early on. And I'm mainly saying that because I don't want to get involved in work that it's not my core focus, but also to basically say that, hey, dude, like I don't want to waste your time. I'm probably not the right person. And whenever I say that I can't do something or I don't know something, it's very common for the person to want to work with me more. Yeah, the people about this, so the Upwork job where I quoted 6K, I remember I was saying something and I'm like, oh, I'm actually not sure about that. And I don't think I could do that. And the person responded back to me saying, I love that you said that because you were so honest. And I just want to work with you now even more because I'm not going to bullshit him. If something comes up, I'm just going to be fully honest about it. So saying you don't know how to do something isn't a bad thing. It's not going to like make the client not choose you. It's actually going to they're going to value honesty more and they're going to probably want to work with you as well. Now, it's very hard to find people that aren't bullshitting just to make money, and honesty is greatly valued. And this is the example that we just had to the SaaS app for whatever industry that does whatever thing. I told him that if I'm not the right person, we're not the right people to build this for you. And he's like, cool, let's meet again next week and just chat more about it. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be yourself. So in one of the other examples, I think maybe somewhere here, one of these slides. Yeah, here, everything has a solution. So we're going to come back to that. But in a previous slide, I mentioned to you that there's always a workaround. Like the client wants you to take him to Disneyland and he's got a motorbike, but he wants to take his entire family. And you're like, well, we can't do it on a motorbike, but there is a workaround. We can do it in a car. So it's not like saying you don't know something. And even if you couldn't do it necessarily with a motorbike, you can still pitch an alternative solution, which is doing it in a car. Like, okay, I can't take 5 people on a motorbike, but how about a car? And they'll be like, oh, interesting. Yep, that still works. We still get the job done. So and also if you don't know, you can just say you don't know and like you need some time to think about it, which I do all the time. My typical response for a client on a first call is they're like, how much is it going to cost? I can give them like maybe a bit of a range, but I don't even entertain that. If I don't know, I just say I don't know. My next step for me to know if I'm capable of doing this, if I don't know, if I wanted whatever I want to say, is I need X, Y, and Z from you. Like we need to get off the call and I need to get all your documents that you want uploaded to AI so I can actually see how this works and how this looks. And then I can even then we'll talk about then I'll tell you if it's even possible for me to do it, and then we can speak about price. That's totally fine. And I find if you take that route where you're just like slower, not speaking about price straight away, when you actually do the background work and like you saw my proposal before, like that pitch, that wireframe, I made that document after our first meeting with pricing on it. But like I'll typically make that document for clients that doesn't have a signature tab. That's not an actual contract. It's just like, this is my idea of how I think this could work. And then over there, I just put a very high price, what I'm comfortable with making it. I don't extort people. I don't overcharge. Although I do need to start finding what the correct value is, because I don't really know what other AI agencies are charging. But I try not to extort people. I don't extort people. What am I saying here? But yes, I will send a document like that where I've done the actual background work and I have a bunch of different information in that document, and then I'll just put some pricing in there. And they're much more receptive to that pricing because they see, okay, this person's actually thought about it. There's some like reasons behind like he's charging what he's charging. It's not just like he said it on the call, yeah, AI call are going to cost you 15K. But if I go away and I think about it for a day or two and I give you a 2-page document with some wireframes and I'm like, yeah, it's probably like 15K. It's going to be doing all these things. These are the tools we're going to use. This is how the layout's going to be. Here's the problems that I know of so far. Then that 15K just sounds like really good because there's a lot of hard work in that 15K, even with problems. Even if you list the problems and you're like, here's the problems. How do you think we can actually work through these things? So again, if you just don't know, you just say you don't know. And the client's much more open to work with these like constraints and these issues, because everyone that has like a business, it's all about solving problems. So you're speaking their language. It's not very abstract. But yes, going into here, learn to say no. So I don't really have like a hard and fast rule for when to know at a high level, like what's a rule set for when to say no. So I'm going to give you some examples of when I've said no recently. So I say no to aggressive or demanding people that want too much for too little, people that email me saying, hey, I followed your tutorial, it didn't work, what's the problem? And then they give me some images. Like people like that are clearly just like selfish. I would not even entertain them. I won't even reply. Well, actually, I typically do reply because I'm a sucker, but like I will say no to these people. And saying no just means I just maybe ignore them, or I'll say, hey, listen, go watch this video again, start it from scratch. People that expect me to help and don't mention cash. Again, this is the email thing. I don't always need cash. I'm not doing this necessarily for money. Like people that are genuine in their concerns, I want to help them for free. I'm also a business owner. I'm also someone that needs like struggles and needs help with, I don't know, jujitsu, my gym, my anything in life. And I'm not just saying it's all about AI. I'm saying about different areas of life. People need different help, and it's nice to have help from different people that are just a few steps ahead of you. So yes, even if they don't, like I'm not after the cash, but if they don't lead with like here is something for you, can I get something from you, like a mutual exchange, then I don't really like that either. Another one is saying one thing and doing another. I had a client where I sent them the actual contract. They agreed to it. Then we made a formal contract with the signature at the very bottom. We signed it. We gave it to them. They replied back with a signed version, but they had like made 2 or 3 notes without us knowing. And the lesson for us was basically get them to sign first, then we sign afterwards. But we reissued the contract anyway. But you can see that they were saying one thing, they were totally fine with it. Then they went back and they kind of edited the contract, that's a no-no. I say no to tools that I don't use. If people want me to build things with like NaN or Zapier, I don't use these. I'm not against them. I just don't use them because there's so much money to be made with whatever I use already that I'm just focused on my core skill set. I just don't do things that I'm not like, even if there's crazy cash in there, I don't care. I don't want to do it. It's not my core focus. Stuff that pulls me away from my core focus. So like people that want to build SaaS apps for spaces that I'm not interested in. Even SaaS apps right now, just a lot of work. I still want to just do general work for businesses, see what really is, what keeps on resonating, start building some core products that I can sell on a subscription service. That's what I want to do right now. So anything that pulls me away from that, I don't want to get into. And then, basically saying yes to something when it's not the right fit for you is basically saying no to yourself. So if you're just constantly saying yes to people like, yes, I'll help you in this email, even though you're not really interested in like paying me, I'll help them. And then they just like ghost me. So by helping them and spending, 2 or 3 hours altogether, that's 2 to 3 hours that are taking me away from my core focus. Maybe I could have made a video. Maybe I could have done some more client work. Every time I'm like saying yes to these things, I'm basically saying no to myself later down the line. So I'm trying to be very purposeful with what I say yes to and when I say yes to it. And one thing that I would always say yes to would be like YouTube. Better make the video. So that's an example of that, like the car and the Disneyland. I had to reframe what my goal was And YouTube videos was the car, the vehicle getting me to my goal, which is basically start churning this AI agency. And that goal can change. It doesn't have to stay the same all the time. It can actually just change as you reach these little milestones. You can change it again, push it a little bit further out. That's totally okay. So yes, saying yes to something now is basically saying no to yourself later on. And then saying no is a good thing. By saying no, you can actually get a lot further, get a lot faster, make more money, do more of the things that you want to do. Sorry, I was on my point before with the YouTube channel. I was always saying yes to the YouTube videos, and now I started saying no to YouTube videos. I'm able to focus more on the core goal, which is, again, find what the actual niche is in the market that I want to focus on, do more of these general business automation jobs, and start figuring this thing out in a more serious way. And then finally, how to get better. So there's so many different tips. Again, I put 16 here. I'm speaking for I don't even know how long. But if you're still watching this, thank you very much. Let me know what you think in the comments. I have no idea if this is even interesting to people, but it is what it is. How to get better. There's many different ways. I've just got 3 here. The first is obsess over 1 to 2 tools or skills. So my obsession is automating things like tasks with coding or make.com. So this is my 2 tools that I'm basically using is JavaScript and make.com to automate tasks. And my strength is channeling my high RPM brain for solving problems. So my brain is constantly churning. I'm really good at problem solving because I just kind of obsess over one thing. I'm very good at focusing on one singular problem and then looking at it from different points of view, which is, I think, perfect for automation. But that's what I do. Like I said before, I don't do NAN, I don't do Zapier. I don't want to build a SaaS app. Obsess over 1 to 2 tools or 1 to 2 skills. So again, mine is automation via coding and make.com. In my real-time video, you see it's a custom coded real-time agent with the make.com backend. Very simple. There might be a time where I start expanding the tools and it could be just me testing things out. But right now my core skill set is automation and my core tools are coding like Cursor, for example, and make.com. Put yourself out there. So a lot of these videos that I'm making now, even this one as I'm recording it, I have no idea who's going to watch this. I honestly, at this stage, I'm recording this for so long, I think maybe no one's going to watch it. But you got to trust the process. Some videos hit, some videos don't. There could be one person watching this at this stage, the entire video, and it's all useful. And if that means that I help you on your journey, and then you start generating some crazy cash or you just get a little bit better, I think it's worth it as well. Like me recording for 1 hour, and you watching for an hour, whatever, double speed, but it can get you that step further. I think that's pretty cool as well. That's good value. So put yourself out there. Build a YouTube portfolio. So this is what I did. Initially, again, very niche on Zendesk. Then I put myself out there again, started doing general automation work, and it's paying off. Put yourself out there, just keep doing it. Don't give up is my next one, and the results will come. And next is speak with authority. So when you put yourself out there, one thing that was making me nervous on calls with customers initially was I was always unsure of myself, maybe a bit of insecurity. I was always unsure about my ability to make things because I didn't have a lot of experience. So I would build the thing before the call, then I would speak with a bit more conviction. But I didn't speak with enough authority. And I think once you kind of speak with a bit more confidence, even if you don't know what it is, speak it confidently. People will respect you more. People will actually want to work with you more. Again, this is probably just my own insecurity coming out, but put yourself out there on YouTube, on video, show you what you're capable of, and speak with authority. Own everything that you do. Obsess over a core skill set. Put yourself out there, put your skills out there, and don't give up. Everything has a solution or a workaround. You just have to find it. So this is what I do. A lot of things that I build, sometimes I can build from scratch. Sometimes I have to watch 5 videos, 10 videos that are all around the same thing. And then finally something will click for me. So it's not easy for me either. I don't think it's easy for many people. But yes, you'll find a solution. Just, find the workaround for it. And going back to the example of you have a motorbike, you want to take your entire family on it to Disneyland, just take a car instead. That's a perfect example, just thinking, not even outside the box, it's already inside the same box. Just finding that solution, don't give up. Be persistent, things will work out. That Jay Waller quote, you work, nothing. And eventually things will just kind of go your way. And your agency will grow, you get more clients, you get more cash, you get that lifestyle that you want. And it's all going to work out. Now, before we get into things, I want to speak a little bit about a thing that I want to trial. So recently, I've been getting a lot of people asking me for advice on running an AI agency, for help with builds, that they're copying my videos and they want to build something, coming to me as these like an authority saying, I want to build an app, I have an idea, can you help me? And I don't have time to work with everyone. And I have this thing where I actually want to give like real, genuine, like hardcore help to people, what I would have loved for myself, nothing airy fairy. So I'm kind of against the idea of, at least right now, running like a school community that has 1,000 members, because I couldn't possibly give like what I would want to give to 1,000 people, let alone 20 people. I couldn't even help 20 people. So what I'm thinking of doing is just, I'm gonna trial this. It might even have no reaction. Like this idea might even fall on its ass, which I don't really care about, but I want to put something out into the universe and see what the response is. And then if it's good, I'll move forward with it. If not, then like you just got to keep trying things. So I want to try these monthly incubation cycles where I would work with 5 people or less, and we would do essentially one hour call with like per person per week. And then on like a Saturday or a Sunday, it'd be like a 1 to 2 hour group session where we're going to be speaking about like, what are you working on? Do you have any like, or actually for the single sessions, probably what are you working on? What's your game plan? Sharing, some insights, whatever, maybe helping unblock you for certain things. But then that group sessions meant to be like a wolf pack of absolute killers that we might share like industry insights. We might share leads. I don't exactly know how it's going to look right now and what the format will be, but it'll basically be, catching up once per week as a one-on-one, and then a group catch up as well. And the pricing for this would be $500 to $1,000 for the first month. I really see this going up a lot more. This is to make money, but also what I'm making from other project work, it really just overshadows whatever this like 1K per month for the time that I'll put into this would actually make me lose money on actual project work. So it's a negative for me. But what I personally want to build is like a community, not even a community, like a focused, like just killers. I want to have a bunch of AI killers in the room where we can work together, share leads, share insights, crossover with projects, all this kind of stuff. Because I think that's a fantastic way to actually grow instead of just doing it yourself. Like get a core group of people that are on the same page, doing the exact same thing, as seriously motivated as you are. And that's what I want to. That's basically what I want to do. So I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video that you can actually go to, fill out the form. And if there's a lot of interest, the price is going to go up. The price for me right now is like a signal of people that are as serious and as interested as I am in this. So most of this incubation thing is to, yes, help you, but also help me find these people that I can create a wolf pack with. And then on the back of this, I reckon there could be another idea for a community for like $100 or $200 a month where you would join this. And all these recordings or transcripts from these calls would be taken and ingested into this community. And we would basically probably redact some of the key information from some of these catch-ups, because I think you can only truly be vulnerable if it's like a secure space. So there'll be some information that won't be shared, but you'll be able to hear these really high-level conversations with these people in this sub-community. And again, I don't want to just be building with any random people. I want people that are like absolute killers, that are like highly motivated, doing crazy things, making crazy cash, have really good offers. And I basically want to scale with these guys. So if you're in that sub community, which again, this is all hypothetical, it's all an idea right now. If you're in that sub community, you will be getting like these crazy insights that you won't find anywhere else, because a lot of people keep this like behind closed doors. But I'll be able to basically take that, capture interesting points, maybe convert it into like this newsletter or a roundup, and summarize all the key bits and pieces that are basically being discussed by these authority figures that you might want to be following. So anyway, that's the idea right now. This is a bit of a spiel, but if you are interested, there's a form below, so fill it out. And then, if there's enough people, or we'll just kind of see how things go, and we can actually launch this. If you're interested in being part of that other sub-community to actually get these recordings, fill out the form as well. Put down that you're interested in that. Comment on the video, whatever you want to do, but just basically show that, like, generate this interest so I can see that there is potential for value here. And I'll follow through, and I'll go through with this. Okay, let's actually get into the video now. And that's it, guys. So thank you very much for watching. I know this is a very long video. Thank you for staying through the entire video if you have. Yeah, the link is going to be below for that monthly incubator. Please, if you've watched this long, you're probably the type of person that I want to work with, because it kind of like, if you're resonating with what I'm saying, if you're serious, you probably spent this entire time watching this, fill out that form. And yeah, hopefully I'll be in touch with you. But good luck and keep launching. See ya.